I recently sat down with a potential client of mine who came to discuss with me a matter on a termination. And I asked the employee, let me see your paycheck stubs. And the employee says, oh, I never got one. I said, what do you mean you never got one? And she said, yeah, no, they never gave us pay stubs. They'd always give us checks with nothing attached. And I said, well, how long had that been going on for? And she says, well, since the new owners had bought the company about 9 months before. And I said, well, what happened before 9 months before? And she says, well, we did get pay stubs from the previous owner, and she went out to her car and she got those pay stubs. And so it was interesting. I had a case in which I had the same employee who worked for the same company for two different owners who did two different things. One employer didn't provide a pay stub at all, and that's clearly a violation of California law. In California, you're entitled to a pay stub at the time that you receive your compensation that identifies who your actual employer is, as well as your hourly rate, as well as the means to calculate all hours worked, including overtime and any deductions. And in fact, when she went out to her car and picked out her pay stubs, and looking at the pay stubs, you couldn't figure out the number of hours that she worked and what the hourly rate was. It just had lump sums. That would change from week to week or every 2 weeks, but it was still unclear. Even as an employment lawyer, I couldn't figure out how many hours she worked and what she was being paid for. So while she came to me with one issue, and we are going to address her termination, there was also this separate issue as to whether or not she's being paid properly and whether or not they were adequately providing paycheck stubs in accordance with California law. California law is extremely protective of its employees. In California, they want to make sure that you know what you're being paid for and what hours you're being paid for and the manner in which you're being paid and who's paying you. If you're working for an employer and you have questions regarding your pay stubs, or if you're having issues with regards to any issue, including whether or not you're being paid properly under California law, or you're receiving proper meal or rest breaks, whatever the issue might be, it's important for you to talk to a law firm that can address those issues. If that's this firm, great. Give us a call. We're happy to discuss with you any issues that you may have. Thanks.